Hi. How are you?
I'm doing all right. Rushing around today.
Oh, thanks so much for taking the time and hopping on and trying to
Yeah,
sharing your
I
story. That's amazing.
appreciate you for having me.
Yeah. Oh, you just put the baby down?
Yeah,
Oh,
she was cranky. She didn't take a nap earlier, so she's ready.
oh. But good thing you got her down. Perfect timing.
Oh, yeah. I was like, come on, please go to sleep.
I know. I'm like that too. I'm like, please, come on, come on. I need you to sleep like at this time so that I can do whatever. Um, but yeah, if you want to introduce yourself and then we can kind of talk about like how you started, you started your own business, which is so amazing because you have endometriosis. Like, I would just love to hear that and like,
Yeah.
your journey with how you started empowering yourself with endo and then you're advocating for endometriosis too. So this is like just your story is just so amazing. So I'm so honored to have you on. So thank you.
Yes, thank you for having
Yeah.
me. So my name is Chelsea Hardesty, and I am from Lancaster, Ohio, 29 years old. And I was diagnosed in 2018 after about 16 years of trying to figure out what was wrong with me. My symptoms started when I was 9 years old. At least I believe that's when they started. Just knowing what they are now and then thinking back of what's happened, I'm pretty sure that's about it. I was passing out on the playground in elementary
Oh
school.
my
I'd go
God.
to the emergency room and everything's fine. She probably hung upside down too long, blah, 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 And then the stomach pain started and I would get scopes and stuff and they'd see irritation or inflammation,
Yeah.
but nothing cause for concern. So I just continued on with these little belly aches and passing out and just being told I'm fine. In high school, you gotta go, baby, come on. In high school, the everything like just increased drastically, including the pain, and then I started getting like really sick. I was throwing up all the time. I couldn't keep food down. I got to the point where they put me on a liquid diet to try to figure out what was going on, and they even thought I had like Crohn's disease and all this crazy stuff. And they finally decided to test my gallbladder.
Yeah.
And if you know, it's like this machine, and you put this stuff in you, and like they turn you on the machine upside down to to get the liquid engulfed in your gall. It was so weird, but turned out my gallbladder was only working at 16% or something like that. So they took that out. Now looking back, like I wonder if
Yeah.
there was endometriosis on it,
Yeah.
preventing it from working. So
Yeah.
we thought that that was going to fix my problems, and it didn't. I still remained so sick.
Yeah.
And I just was in and out of the hospital, and they started saying or finding cysts on my ovaries. Oh, it's just the cysts. You're
Yeah,
just,
I got it.
you're going through, the woman
Yeah.
issues. You'll be fine once they pop.
Yeah.
You know, if you
Exactly.
if you look at a male who goes in and they have cysts on their testicles,
Yeah.
they'll get surgery. But we're told, let them
Yeah.
pop. You'll be fine on your own. Which also risks an increase of cancer cells spread throughout our body. So they're don't even get me started. We'll get into there with my advocating. So once I found all this out, that's why I started to become an advocate, because seeing what has happened to me and then knowing that it's happening every day to everybody else, I'm just like, all right, something's got to give here. I probably pursued probably 5 more years before like just getting sick and sick and sick. And in those 5 years, I started getting thrown into the mental health field, telling me, oh, you got to get your brain right. Maybe it's your stress, maybe it's this. So then I began being admitted into mental hospitals. So I was probably in the mental hospital 3 times from my junior to senior year. And my senior year, I was basically like bullied and was like if I missed a day because I was sick or something, oh, did you have to go back to the mental hospital? Oh, what's wrong with you now? Like I could not tolerate high school, to the point where I dropped some of my classes because they were just, electives. And I just started going to work because I just didn't want to be there anymore. So I started working my senior year in high school just to keep myself busy and occupied, because at that point, if I was sitting at home doing nothing. I was being taken over by the pain I was in and
Mm-hmm.
whatever. So I constantly had to keep moving, constantly do something, or else then my mind would get the best of me because, nothing was wrong with me. Maybe I'm making this up. Everybody else doesn't believe me. Like it was chaotic. After I graduated, I ended up in the hospital, a mental hospital again. That was my own decision though. I called my friend in the middle of the night and I said, I need you to take me. I don't feel safe. I was scared of myself, and I knew, like, just because of, previous
Yeah.
admissions and coping skills and whatnot, like I wasn't okay. And I wasn't ready, but like part of me was to go, and I was like, okay, no, we can't do this right now. And I had already like self-harmed and everything, and I was like sitting there just crying, and I'm so thankful to him to this day for coming to get me.
Oh.
Because he sat there with me and he took me, and then I was scared. I was just scared to tell my mom, because it was just, she was stressed out with dealing with everything. So the nurse there was phenomenal, and he waited until we got everything settled down and I was calmed and I talked to somebody, and he came in and checked on me, and he's like, now do you want me to call your mom? And I said, yes, please. And he called my mom for me and waited till like the morning so she could sleep, because I came in at like 2 a.m.
Yeah.
Well, I waited till she was asleep to go.
Oh,
But that was a very memorable
wow.
moment because like it was one of the nurses that is actually like caring,
Yeah.
everybody else is so judgmental,
Yeah.
and he was very prominent. So I'm very thankful for him, very
Oh,
thankful for my friend that day.
yeah.
And that hospitalization was the decision that made us move from North Carolina to Ohio,
Mhm.
to try to get closer to family, just try to change something because we thought maybe I just needed to restart. That was not the answer. I ended up getting in a relationship, and I moved in with them, and we were 3 hours away from my mom, and it went south. He became very abusive, and he was not the man I knew. It actually turned out I knew him from North Carolina, and he had moved up here years before. So I was just like, oh, hey, this is cool. I know you. Yeah,
Yeah.
not who I thought he was. And like he ended up actually giving me a chronic back injury. I have slipped discs from
Oh my
like
God.
my shoulder blades all the way down. So I have 2 spinal cord stimulators to help with pain control for that, because they tell me I'm too young for surgery because they'd have to go in through my chest to help fix everything. So it's just that all that stemmed because there were moments that I was so sick I couldn't get out of bed. So I was lazy. I was too weak, and in those moments I could not fight for
Yeah.
myself. When I couldn't even get out of bed. How am I supposed to fight for my life?
Yeah. Oh my
So
God.
it was
Oh,
hard.
I'm
But
sorry. I'm so sorry that you went
it's
through
okay.
so strong, and thank you so much for sharing that story. It's like a lot of us go through this, and you're so open and honest, and like literally
I
even
feel like I gotta be, because I mean, if somebody hears my story and they're like, that sounds like me, like if they're like, they're just in that relationship and they're in pain and they don't know, like it happens. And I know it happens. And some people like die because of it. They can't get their way out, and it's not cool. So
yeah,
if I can help in a way with like the medical and help them get out of it with the domestic and
yeah.
find some sort of sunlight, then that's what I want to try to do. So
That's amazing. Oh my God, your story is so powerful. Thank you for sharing it. Like,
yeah.
just how did you come out of that? Because you're obviously in another relationship, right?
Yeah.
And like
A
better.
lot of it, my mom, she kept like communicating with me. I felt like she kind of knew, so she would just kind of be talking to me. And like she came up when I had my back injury. At that time, I was telling people it was just like, oh, I fell down the stairs. Oh, like, because I had also been seen at the hospital not only for my sicknesses randomly, but then I'd come in, with a bleeded eardrum or a busted eye vessel or just stuff. And it was all because of soccer or, because I was scared. I was just scared. But I think mom started picking up on it, and like I started realizing like this I need better than this, And so I finally just came back home to my mom. So from there, I just tried to just get back on like track with like work and just functioning and just being. And I started seeing a practitioner here, and she was pretty concerned for me. And one of the times she actually admitted me when I was really sick and couldn't find anything wrong. And then all of a sudden, like, my glucose was low. That was like the only test they could figure out. So we gave me some sugar water, blah, 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 and like then got me out of there. But like, I just, at that point, I was like, okay, nothing's really wrong with me. It's got to be just, my life, my circumstances. And I continued pushing on another few years. And that's when I met my husband now. I actually met him on a bar on a Tuesday night. So, but after just a few months with him, he realized like something was wrong with me. And like at that point, they had already started like kind of questioning cancer too, and like colon cancer, and like, but they just couldn't confirm it. And then they were just like, well, we did this colonoscopy and everything. There's just inflammation. There's no polyps. We can't confirm the cancer. So it's just like nothing was wrong. Yeah. Again, and like I was telling him like all this was wrong with me, and he'd see me so sick, and he's like, we gotta get something figured out. Yeah. And then I got pregnant. So I went through, and delivery was really rough. Come to find out, my pelvic floor muscles were basically distraught from undiagnosed disease, so they were just, so my contractions were lasting 30 to 45 minutes. Gosh. And I would get like maybe 3 to 4 minute breaks. And it was just, I don't know. I will never, everybody says, oh, they forget their deliveries. I'll never forget either one of mine, because I did them both all natural, because I was terrified of having an epidural or anything in my back, Oh so it was a lot. So I'm just, after that though, we started with my back issues. And then they told me that, because I was trying to push for them to fix me. I was like, please just fix me. I don't want this constant reminder, please. And they were like, well, we're too low. Yeah. I just heard excuses, but I just caved, and I got the spinal cord stimulators, and they help just ease pain, but they're really hard upkeep because you have to constantly keep them charged. They only stay charged for, I don't know, I'd say a little over 24 hours. And then I have to put the belt back on and recharge it for another 2 hours. And then it's just, it did not remove the reminder. That's all. So it just sucks. But I think I've got to the point where I'm learning to live with it. I don't know. I'm probably forever going to be bothered by the thought of it. But we got that at least started. So like later in life, maybe when I'm old and can be sitting in a wheelchair, they'll fix it. But I don't know. I'm hoping to try to push for it, because I know how much I pushed with my endometriosis. Maybe I need to push that hard with my back stuff too, but and like get second opinions and whatnot. I just kind of went with the one doctor just because it's very touchy for me, and I just don't like diving right into it. So, but after that, like as I was recovering from that surgery, I started like looking into my other issues that I'd been, at that point it'd been well over a decade of just being sick. And like I basically came across endometriosis, and by that point I thought it was a reproductive disease, and it was just period based. And so I just dove in more into research, and like social media people and activists were what led me to the proper levels of my research, and getting me the help I needed. So like extra pelvic not rare, Worldwide Endometriosis March, and Nancy's Nook. I found Nancy's Nook after actually I went to my gynecologist with my other findings, just like the first findings, and I was like, oh my gosh, it could be this, and I need to go talk to him because endometriosis, gynecology. So in my gynecologist, and he did a laparoscopy because he agreed, and I was like, I really think it could be bowel endometriosis, and I kept saying that, and like he had me under for 30 minutes, and he said I was clean as a whistle.
What?
Yeah, 30 minutes. My mom didn't even have enough time to like go drop my son off at daycare and then come back. Like, yeah.
What?
Yeah. And I just was like, I don't feel like this is right. So like that was at the beginning of October of 2018. So like I did more research and everything, and by the end, I think it was November 2nd, I was in for a second surgery. with a endometriosis specialist, and she got me in as an emergency surgery because she heard, my story and what just happened. And I remember her asking me before I got put to sleep, she's like, "What are you going to do if I don't find anything?" I was like, "Well, I'm not going to give up. I'm going to figure out something because something's wrong, And she goes, "Okay." And I remember waking up from surgery, and I just immediately like looked for the nurse, and I was like, "Something wrong? Did they find anything? Did they find it?" Like I started panicking, and she's like, "Calm down, calm down." So the doctor came in, and she like held my hand, and she was like, "We found endometriosis on your colon, rectum, and bladder." And like I don't know how to explain that feeling
Yeah.
when there was just a doctor inside of you a month before that telling you were clean as a whistle, and then having another doctor telling you that you just had disease ravished your insides for this entire time that you've been trying to seek help for over a decade. Like it was something else. But
That's amazing.
I was just happy. I was relieved. Like it was such a feeling.
Yeah, when you get that diagnosis, it's like it confirms like finally you're not crazy.
You're not crazy. All those mental hospital visits like
I know.
are what made me crazy. Like
Yeah.
I was serious the entire time, and everybody else doubted it and doubted me, and it sucks because so many people are going every day. Yeah.
Oh. Oh, I can't. Can you hear me?
Freeze. Yes, I can hear you.
I can't hear you.
Uh-oh.
Let's.
Can you hear me?
Can you?
I can hear you.
I can't hear you. What's going on? I wonder why I can't hear you. Oh man, we're getting so good into this.
I don't see. It says my mic is on.
She schedules her second appointment for surgery. Oh, yes. You have to be persistent on your own. I gotta figure out how to get your audio to work. Can you try muting and then end again?
Yeah, might have to
There you
restart.
go.
Oh, okay, cool. Yay. Yay. I was like,
Yeah.
I could hear
Thanks,
you.
Emma. Yeah. But oh my gosh, it's like all that time and you had to advocate for yourself, and you found this surgeon on Nancy's Nook, right?
Just because on a support group on Facebook, basically people, that's where it's usually recommended at. And I just went there. I started on more research, and I just was mind blown. And that's when I found out, oh, I should not have gone to just a general gynecologist because they don't know what the hell they're doing. Clearly, I found that out the hard way. So
yeah, but it's so wild. Like I didn't even know there was a endometriosis specialist excision.
There's technically not a specialization or a field for it right now.
Yeah.
And that's also what a lot of our advocates and people are trying to push for right now, is for just a generalized specialization, for endometriosis like they have for cancer and they have, for diabetes and stuff like that. We just need a generalized specialty group. And we don't have that. It's just kind of tossed around between gynecologists and these doctors in gynecology, or just who have heard of it and did decide to further their research and then got that extra training and the extra education and now have become specialized in the excision removal techniques. So it's less than 300 worldwide specialists. So
oh my gosh,
I mean,
that's nothing.
if you think about the 200 million individuals,
exactly,
and there's only 300 specialists worldwide that properly know how to treat and diagnose and recognize this disease. It's ridiculous.
Yeah, and that's why it takes forever for us to even get an appointment, get one booked. Oh, yeah.
With those proper specialists. And it's not because they don't want to see you. It's because they are working hard with other patients just like us, trying to treat us,
Yes.
It's so I don't know if you know Dr. Nazat, but he's actually one of the longest working endometriosis specialists in the entire world. And he's actually the pioneer in minimally invasive surgery, laparoscopic surgery. And he started Worldwide Endometriosis March, and that was one of the foundations that actually helped me get like my knowledge and stuff. So I started reaching out to them, and I've actually now become like a part of their organization, and I'm a research assistant with them. I am a founder of our Ohio, just Ohio State representation. And we just got back from Washington, D.C., meeting with elected officials, like letting them know, like, this is a problem. And we need you guys to do something about it. And if you don't, I'm working on going to the Department of Justice to do something about it. And you're going to be forced to do something about it. So take your pick is basically what we said to them. And I've started a petition, and it's hit 1.1 thousand signatures so far. And I'm starting to do like physical petitions, and I'm going to be sending them out. I think they're in my room, but I'm just, they're like on little postcards front and back basically. And I just have it sent out to the Department of Justice. So like, and I decided instead of sending them all out at once, I'm going to send out like 20 at a time. So then they'll get a batch and be like, oh, what is this? Oh, I don't know. They'll get another batch. Another batch. And then once my petition hits a certain number, they'll get an email and a letter about the online petition as well. So, and I'm trying to hit the ACLU. It's just really hard to get in contact with them. Or the ACLA, sorry.
Oh my gosh, you're doing such amazing things. Oh, this is amazing. Like, you are so powerful and, amazing person. And I can't believe like how much hardship you went through, and yet you're still going, you're still advocating, you're still doing things.
Like I said from the beginning, I have to keep going, because if I don't, then I'm caught in the pain cycle, and I'm getting caught up into my head. And if I got to keep going. So like, again, in the midst of all of that, I lost like multiple jobs, and couldn't hold jobs. People didn't trust me. They fired me. You're sick too much, blah, 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 blah. So I started becoming a dog groomer, and like, I don't know, still, one, there was a lot of mistreatment of the dogs that I didn't like. And then two, when I was getting sick, and sometimes I started feeling it, I tried to feel it out the day before, so I could try to let people know, my clients know that are coming in, a heads up, so it's not day of. But like, I was still getting attitude for that. I'm like, look, I'm trying to help prepare. Like, I'm doing what I can. It's not like I can't just be like, don't get sick. I feel something's wrong. I'm letting you know something's not quite right now, and I might not be able to show up to work tomorrow. I don't know what else to tell you. And that caused so much issues, and I stopped working for a while. And when I started working again at a new grooming salon, I got pregnant in the midst of my rectal bleeding, that episode that I had for like 2 years after my first excision in 2018. So that was whole thing. Like, it's just like a never-ending story, I'm telling you. So like after that, literally after the October 2018 surgery in December, I started bleeding rectally intensely.
Oh my God.
Because endometriosis had strangulated my bowels for so long, it caused 3 golf ball size hemorrhoids inside, and they had just finally, like, I'm assuming the release of the blood vessels from the release of the disease got to the hemorrhoids and has now, so I bled rectally for 2 years, and we tried to band them off. We tried Botox injections to try to like control pain, and then right as we were getting ready to schedule the surgery to remove them, I got pregnant. So,
oh my God.
So that entire pregnancy, I bled rectally, and I ended up becoming anemic, and it was horrible. And I was sick for a very long time, and I was terrified of like the actual birthing process, because I was scared I was gonna like rupture something, or like my butthole was gonna fall out. Like, I just had all of these things going through my head, but it went okay. And right after that, I went to my colorectal surgeon. I was like, all right, let's get this scheduled. So April 1st of last year, February 23rd was when I had that done, my hemorrhoidectomy. We went in and removed those 3 golf ball size hemorrhoids, and that was not a fun surgery, I'll tell you what. The recovery from that is, I mean, yeah, but it was worth it because it helped extensively. And then a month later, April 1st, I went for my second excision surgery and a hysterectomy because I was done. I had my fluctuations and all that, and I didn't want any more. Plus, both deliveries were hell, and I was just done. So I hated it because I do want more kids, but my body couldn't tolerate it anymore. So we did that. Doing that, we confirmed the adenomyosis in my uterus. So I also had adenomyosis that we weren't aware of at the time. And then she excised endometriosis on my large intestine. So on top of the other places that she found it the last time, it was on my large intestine and a little bit near my bladder. She said it wasn't much, but it was still there. So, and also diagnosed me with interstitial cystitis, which is basically like painful bladder syndrome. So,
oh my God,
lots more diagnoses in the last year.
Wow.
So,
but at least you're getting diagnosis
yes.
now, and instead of saying you're just crazy.
What's wrong with me? Yeah.
Yeah, but how did you like through all the crazy things that you've been through, how have you been like just mentally, okay with just like all these things? It's hard. And
I haven't been. I struggle every day. And like, I mean, when they say you're suicidal, like that's just something I don't think ever goes away for some people. Because like being suicidal is just like it's thoughts that cross your mind constantly throughout the day. So, and like it's there all the time. Like I'm tired. I don't want to do this anymore. And like, and there's moments I'll just go in the bathroom and just cry because I'm done. But like now I have something to hold on for, like my family, my kids, my husband, they give me something to keep pushing on. Whereas like in high school, I was there multiple times. And that was what started those mental hospital visits, was because I tried to overdose and my mom found me. And then we started all that stuff. So I've never really truly been okay with it. I've just been dealing with it.
Yeah.
And I think that's just, I don't know how I've been doing it. I've just been doing it. So I wonder that myself sometimes.
That's amazing because you're such a powerful person. Like you think, like it's not a big deal, but you just doing that every day and trying to survive and just get those thoughts out of your head, that's already a huge, huge thing. And that's like amazing and powerful. That's powerful. And like you didn't overcome it, but you're like, still dealing with it, which is, it takes a lot of balls, and it's hard because when you're not there, it's like you can't do anything else in life, and you can't be there emotionally, physically, everything. So
I do think a lot of it, like, I don't think if I didn't go through some of the mental health stuff that I did, I don't think I would be as well prepared, like if I just went through everything and did not get that mental health help, and like the coping skills and stuff, then I don't know where I'd be, because it did help, even though like it was maddening that I had to sit in there sometimes and just like deal with my emotions. Like it was a lot, and like I had to sit there and like try to tell myself like, okay, it is all my emotions, let's reflect on myself. Why am I truly in this pain? And like I guess it broke into a lot of depths that were truly bothering me, that I did need to break into, that I guess wasn't aware of, but were not causing the pains precisely. But I guess it helped in the long run, because I don't know what else.
yeah, but as like endometriosis is like a whole body disease, and like you really need to focus on your mental, physical health, everything, and emotional health. It's like a lot. So like coping with it, like they teaching you like at the mental institute, like what coping mechanisms did they teach you, if I could ask?
So it was more so kind of like when you're feeling, a lot of it for me is recognizing. I've been able to really recognize when I'm starting to feel a certain way. And it helped, I think, too, when my mom, like, they told my mom, like, hey, if you start seeing her spiral or doing something, say something to her. So, like, my mom would say, hey, I'm seeing some questionable things, so then it would help me start reflecting in. And so, like, now I even tell my husband to do it, and I do it to my husband too, because he also has a lot, like, we both we look out for each other on our mental health, so it's fantastic. But like having that other person, I think, to help you reflect in, like, snap you into it, be like, hey, you might want to check on some things real quick, and then you could be like, okay, what's going on? Like, what do I need to chill out? Okay, maybe I just need to take a deep breath. Maybe I need to eat. Maybe, you know, maybe I need to tell somebody how I'm feeling. Like, is this what's really bothering me? Like, and I got to the point where I realized I was holding a lot of stuff in. And that's what I would do at the doctor's offices too. And it all started, like, I started realizing a lot of that when I started speaking up at the doctor's offices. Then I started being like, okay, if I could speak up at the doctor's office, I could speak up in other places in my life, right?
Exactly.
So I started doing that. And I started, I don't know, I found my voice. So
Yes.
other
Oh my
people
God.
definitely were a huge influence in that. So
Isn't that
it
crazy? It's
was
a
hard.
journey. Yeah, it's a journey to even find your voice
Yeah.
because like we're taught to like not speak up and to just kind of listen and go with whatever society or your doctors say. And it's like meeting so many powerful like endometriosis like women like like you learn to like change, you learn to advocate, you learn to like start thinking a different way, and you're just like, no, this is not okay.
Yeah,
So
because like it seems like we were trained as a society to, like, doctor knows all, you do what they say.
yes.
And that's not how it is.
Yeah.
We pay the doctor, we pay the insurance that pays the doctors. They work for us. If they're not treating us
Yes.
right, we're gonna move on. Like,
Yeah.
and a lot more patients have to start realizing, like, they are not the one say this is it, blah 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 blah. Like, you have the option to get more than one opinion before you go through these treatments, and you definitely have the option to ask questions. Informed
Yeah.
consent, that's basically it. Informed consent and discussions. And if your doctor can't have that with you, then that's the biggest red flag.
Yes. Yes, exactly. But people don't know that. And it's just so, it's wild. So that's why it's like, I want to talk about these issues. That's why I wanted to have you on to talk about it. Like, it's just your journey and your story is just so amazing and powerful. And I like, if you can overcome like all the hardships that you're going through, like, other people can too. It's like,
It's possible.
yeah, it's
And like,
possible.
I totally get, like, why people say it's just not, because at that point in your life, like at one point in my life, I was saying the same thing. So, and that's okay if it's not at that for you right now. It's not possible right
Yeah.
now, because at some point it will be. It just hang on a little longer. That's it. Like, and it sucks to hang on when you're in crazy amounts of pain, or when you have a baby crying and you can't even get up off the bathroom floor. Like, it
Yeah.
sucks, but
It's hard.
it's worth it. It's worth
Oh, it's so true. I know. I have my daughter and she's like a little miracle baby too. And it's just hard. Like and right now I have a cold. I'm like, I feel so defeated. Like how do I like deal with her and like she's sick and I'm sick and then like, I'm scared like I'm gonna have like an endo flare
it.
anytime or it's
Mhm. Yeah, like, so basically after both of my deliveries, I had surgeries right at, like, within the next 4 months. So, like, with my first son, in the first 4 months, I had my spinal cord stimulators placed. So he was like 4 or 5 months old, and then I had to have somebody help me with my 4 or 5 month old. And like I said, with my recent one, she was about 4 months when I had that surgery in February. She was born in November, and because I had to have that done, like, no ifs, ands, or buts. I was bleeding out, I was anemic, and it needed to happen. It was getting worse. Like, I felt, I don't know. I definitely feel more energized now that we have that under control. Like,
that's good.
that was so tiring and draining. So I'm so glad about that. But it was so sad to, like, not be able to be there in those prime moments because like things were ripped away from me that were not my fault. So
it's so
it's
hard, but oh, but like now you're here for her, and like you can
run
do all the
around and have fun. Like for instance, I have soccer practice with my son tonight. I coach his team.
oh,
I've
that's
been coaching for the
amazing.
past year and a half, so I do that. I own my own business. I just started the nonprofit. I also referee soccer just to go help them because they have high school kids out there, and some of these parents are so mean to these kids. It pisses me off. So I go out there with my voice and tell them, watch yourself. These kids don't have their voice yet, and I do. So.
Oh my gosh, you're such an amazing person. And like, see, like you have so many things, and like you have all the energy, and you just still go on, do all these
It's
things,
the
you know?
drive of knowing that I'm helping people. And like I've already had like the reminder from people constantly, like, you helped me find a doctor, you helped me this, you helped me that. And like that's also like letting me know I'm doing the right thing and stuff like that. So
Yes. You know, helping other people. You're like, see, you're meant. I know it sucks, but like all your hardships, you're meant to do what you're on earth is to advocate, be here, and like do
go
be
through you
powerful.
go through the journey to help other people go through the journey is what they say, you know. So
But
it
that's
sucks, but I guess I'm glad that I can be the one to do it.
yeah.
So
Thank you for doing all that you do for this amazing, like, you know, community. I know I always say this, we have like one of the shittiest diseases, but we have one of the best communities ever. Like,
100%.
which
So
is amazing. And like, I didn't even know this community existed before social media. Like,
yeah, exactly. Me either. Nope.
isn't that
I just was
crazy?
like, I knew, like I said, I knew endometriosis. I knew it was like, you know, a period
Yeah,
issue, blah, blah,
yeah,
blah. I didn't think it was as serious as
yeah.
like it really freaking is. So,
Exactly. Like they downplay it like, oh, it's just a period. And it's like periods, no. Like we literally need to change the education system for
yeah, we
sure.
don't even need to have the definition to talk about the uterus at all.
I know.
Like, and it's I'm glad that now we're just saying similar to, but even still, like, it has way more differences. It shouldn't even be classified as a similar anymore.
Yeah, exactly. There's just so many issues that need to, you know, like be addressed. But, you know, you sorry. Oh, is your baby awake?
And now my husband just got home from
Okay.
work.
Oh.
He struggles getting his shirt off his shoulders sometimes.
Oh, you're helping him out. Yeah, but you know, it's a lot of things need to change, but you know, at least we have you advocating, like, you know, just all this community. This community is
So
going to
many
change.
people out
But
there.
I feel like because I got my diagnosis like 2 years ago, and I feel like, and I've been on social media now, I learned so much within the 2 years that I've learned my
Mhm.
whole life. I'm like 35 now, and like, dude, I'm like, what the heck? Like,
Yeah.
how did I way more about this disease in 2 years than my whole freaking life? It's amazing, like what social
Like,
media can do.
how did you learn more about it than most doctors?
Yeah,
Yeah,
exactly.
that's what I think about all the time is how many advocates out here know more
Yeah,
than these doctors. The only thing they don't know how to do is perform the excision surgery.
yeah,
So,
exactly. It's wow. You can't even diagnose this correctly. That's a big issue.
yep. And like it has so many different colors, and people just think it's like a black color or like a white color. Like, no, it's yellow, it's green, it's colorful. And that's the biggest problem is like recognition of the disease and recognition of the lesions, and
Yes.
even certain specialists going in and not knowing the color spectrums, you know. So again, having that classification with like a genuine classification field and training to get into this classification is needed because you can't, I mean, I don't know. I like to use this as a perspective. If you think about a heart surgeon or somebody claiming to be a heart surgeon and going in to do surgery and not even being able to locate the heart,
Yeah.
Or how about somebody who's going to perform brain surgery and accidentally performing a lobotomy?
Yeah. That's
Like,
true.
that's the exact type of situation that's happening in the endometriosis community. These individuals are claiming to know of a disease, of something that they truly don't know, and they're causing harm, and they're killing people, and they're increasing the spread of cancers, not
Mhm.
even knowing. Like, it's mind-boggling.
Yeah. It, it's
And the
wild.
recognition that just people are just, oh, no, it's not happening. It's not happening. I'm like, okay, all right. And like for the past, since 2018, the community I came into, I just feel like everybody's right here to each other. Like we're saying the same thing to everybody else when everybody else is out here. And that's why, like, we're trying to reach the elected
Yeah.
officials. We're going out
Amazing.
to the people who were elected to frickin' protect us.
Yeah.
And like we're breaking down, like, with this petition, how our civil rights are being, not protected, and discrimination is happening on multiple levels, not
Yeah.
just as a woman's disease, but just in healthcare,
Yeah.
in in like the funding in general, as well as just med school. Med school is
Yeah.
where everything stems from. That's the base of
Yes.
all of it. So
Exactly.
we got to get down to there to even change the rest of it. So
Yeah. They are not being taught correctly.
they're still stemming on what I can't even remember his name, Mr. Sampson, the Sampson's theory, from freaking, what was it, the 80s or the 60s? I don't even remember. I feel like it was the 60s. But like he came up, he looked at the disease and was like, oh, it looks like the endometrium, and they didn't have the cellular analysis we do now, and they just ran with this for decades. Like, okay, it's the lining of the uterus just upchucking itself into
Yeah.
the body.
What I was
Yeah,
told.
no,
No.
I don't know. And if you think about it, it just really doesn't make sense. Like,
Yeah.
if it's already shed lining, how's it reimplanting, first of all?
Yeah.
It's already shed, dead, gone. How's it reimplanting? Second of all, when we actually look at how it reacts and stuff, it doesn't shed, it doesn't bleed. The only times it bleeds is if it's actually truly an area that gets irritated enough to be
Yeah.
raw and bleeding. But it does not act like the endometrium, and it does not shed. The only reason why it really occurs with our period is because endometriosis is an inflammatory disease.
Yes.
So any inflammatory response in the body, such as your period, is going to cause a flare up.
Yep.
And we all know our period can last 3 weeks, like just the beginning of, the process, not just the bleeding, the entire
Yeah.
process.
Yeah.
So many of us are suffering for an entire month
Yeah.
just because we have a period and we have an inflammatory disease that's constantly being inflamed. And other people who have other inflammatory diseases like IBS and even arthritis and stuff like that, like all flare-ups,
Yeah.
and we don't think about those things,
Yeah.
and we just assume like it's a period disease just because of the uterine lining. No, it's not even a period disease. It just flares up that time because it's an inflammatory disease. That's what it is. It's not a period
Yes.
disease, not a woman's disease. It's an inflammatory disease. But
Yes.
it
Yeah.
can't even, it hasn't even been classified as that yet either. So
It's
here
so
we go with more classifications. We just need them. That's it.
exactly. Yeah, but thank you again for doing all this stuff and advocating and if you can let me know if I can help in any way and you know,
For sure.
like
I know soon we're going to get ready to like do like a governor outreach kind of thing for 50-state governor outreach. We were going to try to do it in March, but a lot was
yeah,
taken over for, well, first of all, Worldwide Endo March Day, we had a lot going on for that. That's like the whole day we had people and doctors from all around the world come together and speak on what's going on worldwide and everything. And I was also a guest on that, and we spoke about what we were doing and what I plan to do, and a little bit on my story as well. And it was a lot. And I know the people that I'm working with, they do a lot too. So right now, coming back out of DC, we're kind of like mellowing out, and then I'm just kind of tossing around the petition link for a little bit, trying to gain some traction on that for right now. And then, like I said, we're going to go for this governor outreach. And then the governor outreach is basically going to be like videos, social media videos that people are going to do from all 50 states to their governors. Like, look,
Wow.
this is what you can do to help. Because we're going to try to hit all these elected officials before we get into the Department of Justice. Because that's the point. Like, if y'all don't do it, you're going to be forced to do it.
Yeah.
So that's the goal.
Yay! Thank you for doing all this for our Endo community. Like, wow, that's amazing. So if you could just send the petition out, you know, post it,
see if I can post it in the comments
for this. Yeah, that would be amazing. Like, if we can help in any way, like, you know, I would love to help.
There it is. Oh, goodness.
Because literally,
yeah, so that's the online petition. But then, like, if anybody wants to do like their physical petitions, I've just been asking them like to message me because I get their address and stuff. I don't want them posting that and stuff. And I'll put their address on the postcard and send them a picture, and then I'll put postage on it and send it out myself. So right now, I think I have about 6 physical ones. So I'm building up to 20 currently.
Nice.
So I'm excited.
Yay. Okay, sounds good.
Yeah.
Yes, right? You found your purpose in life. Your purpose here on earth. Well, I don't know, but I believe in, like, you know, there's a purpose and a reason why you're here, and what we're like put through, I guess, to like take us into that purpose.
As much as I hate it, I agree.
Yes, right? Me too. I'm like, why did I have to go through all these hardships? Like, but then thinking about it, it led me to my purpose, you know, like how I want to help other people, you know, like feel better. It's just so crazy. It's just, and then like now I can connect with people like you, and it's just amazing.
It's great. Yeah, I've met so many wonderful individuals, and then like just and worldwide now. Like I've never had people like friends worldwide, and like now I have like people I talk to often worldwide, and like that I can relate to, and it's just it's definitely a community. It's amazing.
Yes. Oh, and I'm so glad that I've met you, and thank you for being so open, honest, raw, sharing your story, doing amazing things, and like teaching me so much things, you know, like
that's the goal. That's the goal.
Yeah.
So a lot of people are shocked because I'm throwing out like endometriosis has been found in men as well. And like people are like, what?
I heard about that recently.
Yeah. So, and like somebody asked me for documentation, so I sent them all the cases. I was like, yeah, sure, here you go. Boop. I'm not lying. Boop.
That's so
it's funny.
Crazy.
Yeah.
So, oh my gosh, but thank you again for all your time, and you know,
I'm gonna get ready to go get my boy.
Aw. Yeah, and hopefully we can like keep in touch, and then, you know, like I want to see any updates or anything that, you know, amazing that you're doing. And thank you again for hopping on. It was so good to chat with you.
It was good to chat with you. I'm glad we finally got it together.
Yes. And I hope you have a good day.
You too. I'll talk to you soon.
Bye.
Bye.